Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Ann Reardon and I have just bought 70 different Russian piping tips, so you don't have to. You can watch the video, see what they all do and choose to buy just the ones that you like. Russian piping tips are quite big, so you're going to have to cut off a good amount off the end of your bag, and then if you want multiple colours in the one flower, the trick to doing that is to spread some buttercream onto some plastic wrap in a rectangle, coming close to the edge on one side only, the side that's facing you, but leave a good gap on all the other edges. Then add a different colour over the top, but don't go to the edges on the side. You just want it to go down a strip down the middle, and then add a third colour for the centre of your flower into the middle of that. Fold that over and wrap it up, and then twist the top end, then holding onto that end, lift it up and place the other end into your piping bag and then twist the top. Now when you start piping, you need to remember to hold the tip low to your cake so the edges and the centre can attach. See here, the edges and the centre have touched down, so it works and you get the pattern of the flower on your cupcake. If you hold the piping tip too high, the outside petals will join to the cake, but the inside will not attach, as you can see there, so then it's not going to work. The other thing to keep in mind is how tall you pipe your flowers. If you only squeeze out a little bit of frosting, you end up with like a bit of a blob. If you do a medium amount all the way through to tall, it gives you quite a nice flower. It looks good at the different levels. It has a bit of a different look, so it depends on what you like. But if you do your petals too tall, they're just going to fall over. It's not going to hold its shape. If you do want to pipe some bigger flowers, there are some Russian piping tips that you can use for the centres, and then use one that looks like this, a rounded one, just to pipe some petals around the outside. They do make pretty flowers, but they're not fast flowers like the other tips are, so we're going to focus on the other ones. With this first group of tips we're going to look at, you'll notice that they all have a single row of 3 petals around the outside. It's only the centre pattern that changes, so it'll be interesting to see how different they look when they're piped. This first one has a flower type pattern in the centre with indented petals, and it looks like this when it's piped. That looks alright. This one has a similar flower pattern but without the indents, so it's not quite as detailed. The next one is so similar. The petals are basically exactly the same but arranged in a slightly different pattern, but once it's piped you really can't tell the difference. The star and the dots turns out a bit unimpressive, but I do like the ones that have just dots in the middle. This one has 7 dots and that turns out quite pretty, and this one has lots of dots in the middle. That would look good if it had some yellow frosting in the centre there. Moving on, there are heaps of Russian piping tips with a double layer of petals, so they have an outside row and an inside row. Personally, I prefer these double ones to the single row ones that we just looked at. They look a lot more like flowers to me. But instead of giving you my opinion on each of these, instead I want to know what you think. So I'm going to pipe with all of them, and then you can tell me in the comments, just describe what it looks like, which Russian piping tip you like the best. Here we go. Wow, that took so long to film, but it looks amazing. Let me know which one is your favorite. The buttercream recipe that I used for this is on my website, howtocookThat.net, and I'll link to that below. Click here to subscribe to How to Cook That, here to watch my other videos. Make it a great week by being kind to someone else, and I'll see you on Friday.